Welcome! Today, we're answering the question of why does my spouse and I get stuck in this cycle? This cycle of argument after argument, or maybe silent treatments, withdrawing, disagreements, or maybe you have blow-up arguments. We're answering that today on this episode, but before we do that, share a little bit about where we left them.
Last week, we asked you the question, what is one area in your life or marriage where you are not taking personal responsibility and expecting your spouse to complete some part of you? Take a moment and really consider that.
Maybe you need to pause the video so that you can do that. Don't just pass forward, because it's important that we recognize that first before we get into today's episode, and especially the next episode
which is the vicious vortex of death.
Yes, let's talk about that. Have you ever been in a conversation with your spouse and you say something and all of a sudden there's a reaction coming back that is like, what just happened there? But what happens is if I say something to you and you react back, I react too. And then you react, and then I react, and then it just
How did we get here?
This building of frustration, hurt hearts, disconnection, and just drift that happens just like that.
My words and my actions are not kind when that happens. You know, it starts with an internal vortex. We all have our own stuff going on inside of us, and this from our past. And I don't need you for me to feel a certain way.
I can
have it
prick
going
my
on.
own. I can prick my own thorns with my thoughts, and that ramps up this vicious vortex inside that's internal.
That's right.
And then I start colliding with you.
And then all of a sudden we're in this vicious vortex where your internal vortex collides with my internal vortex. That is the vicious vortex of death that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and it just leads to emotional wounds within the marriage that don't get dealt with, that aren't resolved. They're pushed under the rug in hopes that it'll never happen again. But you and I know it happens again, over and over and over. And we share that in the phrase of like, it's literally like living the same week or maybe year over and over and over again. Because
it's always
you can't
predictable.
Get out of the cycle.
Yeah, it's always predictable, and we're going to end up in the same thing, even though the last argument ended us here too.
Well, what's crazy about this vicious vortex of death is that it's all in attempts to connect.
It is. How crazy is that?
Like I go about wanting to feel important to you through using defensiveness, sarcasm, passive-aggressive, manipulation, control, because I really desire something that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good desire.
You want to feel important, but when you feel unimportant, that is what triggers these unhealthy actions and words to each other, because you want to feel important.
Right. So that just leads to constant conflict within the marriage. And it's really challenging to work through that. As you know, if you have been listening along, all of your arguments and everything that you deal with in marriage that is a negative comes from our thorns.
Here's a quote from our book. Every marriage has this unique flavor of these vicious cycles, continuously rotating until they drain the life out of both partners and the marriage itself. This cycle is a major contributor to the soaring divorce rates we witness today. A relentless vortex of death. It's the ultimate marriage killer.
That's so true. Like, as I look back at our marriage, I can see how this cycle drains the life. And even now, I mean, we still enter this cycle. It's just different. It's not as destructive, but it's still destructive. And it really just drains us and our marriage when that happens.
I imagine you feel very similar yourself. I would love to share a story to get on the court to show, like, what does this look like in reality of marriage?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So there was a circumstance where you were going to your parents' house, and you came home later that day, and you shared with me, hey, I'm going to be going back over there tomorrow, which there's nothing wrong with that because I love that you go to your parents' house. But I was so caught off guard. And I had so many things going on inside of me. I could tell I was getting short of breath. My heart rate was increasing. I was feeling like panicky and antsy. And what I'm feeling is unaware.
Yeah, because we had already made plans.
Right. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, why did he say he's going over there? Like, we made plans and it's on our calendar what we're doing tomorrow. And I was feeling unaware that you would do that, which led me to fact finding. So I'm like asking you questions, trying to gain more information from you. Like, well, why are you going back over there? Mm-hmm. And what is it for? And tell me more. And I'm getting more and more worked up, which I'm sure you couldn't tell.
I can tell because you have negative body language, and then it seems like you're being defensive. And that automatically made me feel judged.
Yeah.
It automatically, I'm like, what is going on here? What is the big deal?
Right.
I'm already feeling judged, and so I become defensive, and I have negative body language. I'm like, why would she be this way?
Right. And so then you're getting defensive with me, and that pricks my thorn of feeling invalidated, that my feelings and opinions don't matter, or that I don't matter. And so I just start repeating myself in different ways. I'll say something one way and you don't get it.
Yeah.
You still are defensive.
Yeah.
So I'll say it another way and then another way, trying to get my point across. And then I might lecture and I might make some demands, which I'm pretty sure I did.
And then I feel controlled. I feel controlled by you. I become an innocent victim. I want to fix whatever's going on because I don't want to feel that way. I become passive aggressive. I have negative beliefs about you. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm automatically assuming the worst about you.
Mm-hmm. And as you're doing all of those things, now I'm feeling insignificant and unimportant. And so I am personalizing everything that you're saying, and now I'm blaming you because, buddy, you should have looked at our calendar and we wouldn't even be in this argument right now. And so I start complaining to you that you aren't responsible for keeping up with what's on our calendar before you make plans.
I automatically feel I'm such a failure. I am such a failure. What's wrong with me? I feel so helpless and powerless. And I abdicate, I withdraw, I avoid you, I avoid the conversation. I just want to get out of there.
Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, I feel alone and rejected. So I say to myself, well, if you're going to withdraw and avoid me, I don't need you anyways. And I become independent and I stonewall you and give you the silent treatment.
I don't need you anyways.
Yep.
Is that the way it sounds?
That's the way it sounds. It's probably a little more sassy on the inside. Yeah, so that's a little of the flavor of our vicious vortex, and I'm just curious for you. Are you getting this? Are you seeing this in your own marriage? How destructive this cycle really is?
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that we do these things because we want to connect. And you when you alluded to that, it reminded me of the statistic that 97% of all couples feel like the other couple is against them in these arguments. The other spouse is against them in these arguments. Mm-hmm. In reality, is 0.7% is actually against each other, which means 99.3% of the time, your spouse is actually for you. We just don't know how to communicate about it. Mm-hmm. Like, the way I choose to communicate with you is negative body language, passive-aggressive behavior, defensiveness, withdrawing, avoiding. Mm-hmm. And none of those are getting me what I want.
Right.
Which is connection, to be on the same page, to have partnership, to have good communication with each other.
Exactly.
And I'm not being effective.
No. And let's just point back to season 3 where we talked all about the 6 layers of deception. We have a quote from our book that says, Satan strategically targets our individual hearts long before marriage, understanding that he can induce us to wall off our hearts early on. It will hinder us from experiencing the profound gift of a thriving marriage. And that's so true. Like, this scheme that he has started long before you and I entered marriage. We are just self-destructing in that scheme when there's no awareness, which is why we did season 3. We want you to have awareness of what's going on in your marriage. We can't ignore it, and we can't pretend like it doesn't exist, because that leaves us helpless and powerless to do anything about it other than blame that you're the problem and you need help.
Yeah, he has a scheme. You know, these wounds and lies that we have internally in ourselves that we end up believing throughout our life. That is the scheme of the enemy. In Ephesians 6:11, he says, there are schemes that the enemy has for you. And then Ephesians 6:12 says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but there's a hierarchy of evil that's behind these schemes that he has for us.
Yes, we have in our intensive retreat program, we go really deep into discovering what this vicious vortex of death really looks like in marriage. And we also discover what your individual thorns are and how to get exact healing over those things that started long before your marriage to free you up to be able to show up without your thorns. And when we're showing up without our thorns, we're able to be whole and complete. So if you're interested in going deeper into that, I just want to encourage you, go look into our intensive retreat program. It's phenomenal. It is rapid healing for couples. And just ask the Holy Spirit if that's the best next step for you.
We have to take personal responsibility. It's our heart, our responsibility. Our feelings, our emotions, our actions, our thoughts, they're all your responsibility to take care of. And we have to identify there is a vicious vortex that's going on. I'm contributing to this. I've got to pause that. I've got to see it so I can identify it.
Yes. And I just want to highlight the fact that this vicious vortex is not just in marriage. And the reason I want to say this is as soon as you enter into life with this knowledge that this blind spot exists, you're going to start to see it everywhere in your life, with your coworker, with your boss, with your friend, with your sibling, with your parents. Vicious vortexes
everywhere.
Of death. And it destroys relationships. That is the scheme of it all, is in hopes that we will self-sabotage our own relationships that we care about.
And every single time, what I want to do is, well, obviously you're the problem. I need to get you out of my life or someone else out of my life so that someone else, that they will be able to complete some part of me.
Right.
It is all a lie from the enemy. These wounds, these lies, they're all from the enemy. They are meant, we said this earlier, this internal vortex, and it is going on inside of me, and that's what has me showing up not my best self in marriage. It's not you. It's not you, and I've got to be able to identify that. How do we learn to recognize this cycle that is in marriage? And you, as we gave the example, you might be able to see yours. But how do we recognize this cycle in marriage?
One of the things that helps me recognize it for myself is my body sensations. And when my body starts telling me I'm not okay, it does very odd things. My heart starts to race. I start to feel short of breath. I get a little hot and sweaty or warm to the touch. I get tunnel focus on what it is we're talking about. And I'm sure there's a few more as well.
Let me share some of mine. I get sweaty armpits, my tunnel vision, I feel like my ears get really red. And I feel like sweat starts coming down my brow.
Yeah.
I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel like I want to run or fight.
Right. And so many people will say, "Oh, I don't have that." My body doesn't do that. And I would just have you reconsider that your body does do it, but you've been ignoring it your whole life because it is uncomfortable. We don't like to feel this. And it's also called fight or flight. And so, or fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've heard that terminology before. That's what's going on internally. And our body warns us, hey, you're about to go into an internal vortex. And if we just listen to that and pause for a moment to reflect, what's going on? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? Oh, totally. That goes to my thorn of unaware. That's what's going on. I'm feeling caught off guard by something you just shared with me. Okay, I need to take a deep breath. Just calm myself.
And it's going to take both of you. Both hearts are going to have to come humble, open, and transparent. That is going to require both people in a relationship to get healing. Now, obviously, one person can. Absolutely.
We get the question a lot. Do a video on if my spouse is not healing with me. And we know that may be you that's listening right now. Maybe your spouse is not on this healing journey. And what I want to share with you is it does not box you in to no healing because your spouse is a healing. Everything that we're sharing in every episode that we have so far works individually.
It does.
And what we have seen with those that take it on, 110%, like I am getting my healing no matter what my spouse is doing. They influence their spouse in a positive way. And it really is the coolest thing to watch because then the spouse is like, whoa, wait a second, you're showing up different.
Yeah.
You're approaching me different. You have more love and grace and patience and the fruit of the Spirit. And that's what healing does for us. So that it can't help but impact your marriage when you get the healing.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge you. I was talking last night during our group meeting, and I was acknowledging to them what I have seen in you, how you have showed up more whole and complete. In the last major disagreement we were in, it wasn't you that fell into the disagreement, into a vicious vortex. It remained in me, the internal vortex. And you were able to show up whole and complete, and you didn't have to go down there with me. Mm-hmm. You were supportive, you were caring, you were loving, you helped me. That is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that you did the work, and it influenced me. You influenced me to be a more responsible for my feelings.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so it works. You have an influence and an impact on your spouse, how you choose to show up or how you don't choose to show up.
Yes. So as we wrap up today, we have been talking all about the vicious vortex of death. It's that unhealthy negative cycle and pattern that you have in marriage of not resolving conflict, but instead reacting to your spouse and the thorns that are within you. So we want to leave you with this question to consider for yourself. And you may want to pause the video after this question to just take a second to look. What unhealthy patterns or repeating conflicts, vicious vortexes, show up in your relationship? And are you ready to ask God to reveal this blind spot and hidden struggle behind them, which is a thorn? And I just want you to look. If you are saying, I don't want to look, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? There's something, and most likely it lives in layer 6 of deception. There's evil influence that's stopping you from what you truly want in life. Because I imagine your heart truly wants intimacy, connection, love, unity in your marriage.
Yeah.
And yet maybe you don't have access to it. Well, it starts here.
Yeah. Yeah, probably what it is, it rhymes with pride.
Pride.
100%.
Yes. So now you have the awareness. This is what's going on.
But awareness is not enough. I love your quote. Awareness is not enough. You need to do something about it. Like I can have an awareness that I feel judged. But it does nothing for me. I still am going to have problems in my life because I'm still going to feel judged.
Exactly.
I've got to do something about it. I've got to look at that blind spot. I've got to uncover it. Then I've got to go back and look, are there lies I'm believing from the enemy? Is there something I need to let go of in life? Is there a truth I need to lean into from God?
Yeah. Good job on not saying truce. Next week, you want to stay tuned because we're going to address just that. We're going to share what you can do with your hurting heart when you get a thorn pricked and how you can get healing around that to repair your marriage.
And
instantly.
We're going to do that too.
Yes.
We're gonna and we're going
Yes.
to do it.
Did I say it both ways?
No, you only said it one way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to share, if you haven't already subscribed to this journey, this is your healing journey, and you don't want to miss the videos that we're putting out because we are really taking what you're asking us on our comments. You're saying, hey, I want to hear more about this. Hey, tell me more about this. We're answering your questions on our channel. So be sure, subscribe. And then two, if you want to learn more about today's topic, we picked out a video that goes a little bit deeper into why this vicious vortex of death exists in the first place. So if you want to continue that,
Right here.
watch this video next.
Ding, 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 ding.
Great job.
Thanks, babe. I had fun with that one.
That was fun. I enjoyed it too.
Joel, take us home.
For sure.